Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. We're here this morning for our Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, everyone. We have a full house this morning. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me are my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally and Commissioner John Kafalis. From the clerk's office, we have Lindsay Jones. We have Lorenda Volker, our county manager, with us this morning. We also have Tom Clayton from Public Affairs and Sarah Martin from our commissioner's office. So welcome, everyone. We begin these meetings with public comment. We don't have anyone signed up currently, but is there anyone in the audience who would like to give public comment? You would have 3 minutes to speak, and you can raise your hand if you're interested in that. I think most people are here for a different purpose, but I just want to throw that out there. So no one wants to give public comment. I don't see any hands raised. Lots of folks still coming in. Welcome. Good morning. Sarah, is there anyone who wanted to give public comment by phone?
No, Commissioner.
Okay. So one last chance. Is there anyone in the audience who wanted to give public comment? All right. Seeing no hands raised, we will close public comment. Just remember that you're welcome to come back next week if you'd like to give public comment. You can also send us an email or call us if you have public comment. We'll go on to our next agenda item, which is approval of the minutes. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll ask you to make that motion.
Certainly, Madam Chair. I move to approve the minutes for the week of May 12th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We will move on to our upcoming schedule review. Sarah?
This is the Commissioner's schedule for May 26th through June 1st. On Monday, May 26th, county offices will be closed in observance of the Memorial Day holiday. On Tuesday, May 27th, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will host the Colorado Division of Insurance Commissioner Town Hall at the Larimer County Office of Emergency Management at 4872 Endeavor Drive in Johnstown. On Wednesday, May 28th, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Shattuck McNally may attend the North Fort Collins Business Association meeting at the Rocky Mountain Innisphere at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., there will be a liquor license hearing for Oh Dear LLC doing business as the Spice Rack in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a liquor license hearing for GVC Estes Park Aerial Tramway, doing business as Estes Park Aerial Tramway, in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session for an update regarding emergency services in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., there will be a work session regarding Phase 2 of the Ranch Master Plan in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Longview campus at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will speak at the Wellington Area Chamber Empower You event at Owl Canyon Coffee at 3745 Cleveland Avenue in Wellington. From 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fair Board meeting at the McKee 4-H Youth and Community Building or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, May 29th, from 10:30 a.m. to 11:50 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Larimer County Opioid Abatement Advisory Group meeting. From 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the Colorado Department of Transportation Region 4 at 10601 10th Street in Greeley or virtually via Zoom. From 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., the Commissioners may attend the Larch Northern Colorado groundbreaking event at 1015 Brittany Street in Fort Collins. From 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., there will be a regional elected officials meeting at the Desk Chair Workspace at 201 East 4th Street in Loveland. On Friday, May 30th, from 8:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Colorado Department of Transportation Region 4 Transportation Planning Region Chairs Statewide Transportation Advisory Council Representatives and Transportation Commissioners meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 10601 West 10th Street in Greeley or virtually via Google Meet. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., the Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together member check-in. From 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., the Commissioners may attend the Loveland Air Quality Monitoring Site ribbon cutting ceremony at Mahaffey Park at 3285 West 22nd Street in Loveland. And on Saturday, May 31st, there will be an open schedule. And on Sunday, June 1st, from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioners Kafalis and Chad McNally may attend the Fort Collins Pride event at Library Park at 207 Peterson Street in Fort Collins.
Thank you, Sarah. Do either commissioner want to make any corrections to your schedule? Commissioner Kafalis.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. The only addition I would offer, Sarah, is on Saturday, May 31st, is the annual Laporte Festival, and I will be spending a little bit of time there. I can give you more details if you need them. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Shattuck McNally.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Sarah, and Melissa and Brenda and all that help wrangle our schedules. We appreciate your work. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to work backwards, Sarah, if that works better for you. May 31st, on Saturday, I will be attending some events in Denver, but before I do, I'm going down to the Community Wildfire Education Day with Loveland Fire Rescue Authority, and that is from 11 to 2 at Fire Station number 7 on North County Road 27. And on Friday, May 30th, I'm also going to be attending the CCI feedback meeting virtually for 11 to 11:30 with the Colorado. I'm on the Colorado Forest Health Council, and I sat on the subcommittee from the prescribed fire subcommittee, and we're giving feedback with the fire commission regarding the draft Colorado Fire Commission recommendations. So I'll be attending that. And that's Friday, May 30th. On Wednesday, May 28th, that's fire subcommittee that I just spoke about. My colleagues, I haven't shared that with you yet, but I will jump out for about a half hour because we do have our Colorado Forest Health Council Prescribed Fire Subcommittee meeting to talk about the latest, the final drafts and stuff, and that I'll just do that from 2 to 2:30, but I'll try not to miss too much of the wrench of either one, but I need to jump in on that meeting real quick. And then I wanted to just comment on Tuesday, May 27th. This is for the members of the public and for others, that town hall that I'm having with the Colorado Insurance Commissioner, Mike Conway. This is about some of the bills and the work that we're trying to do to and that he's doing, I've been assisting with at the state level to work on homeowners insurance. So this is also about wildfire mitigation and preparedness. And this is this is really related to wildfire and what we can do to help folks with what we can do to help mitigate some of the insurance premiums and some of the things. And the insurance commissioner is coming all the way up from Denver. It's a really unique opportunity to hear from him and the work that he's been doing and what we've been joining in on. So I want to hope everyone will join us at the Office of Emergency Management, which is a very cool building anyway. And I look forward to hearing from him and sharing some of that work. So I just want to make sure everyone knew that it's broader than just talking about insurance. It's about wildfire mitigation and all that work. So thanks. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sarah, I have one correction on Thursday, May 29th. So because I have to be in Greeley for that non-attainment area air pollution mitigation enterprise, because we're going over grant applications, I'm not going to be able to attend the L'Arche groundbreaking, so I'm sad about that, but I do need to be in Greeley for that meeting. And then right after that, I'll have the National Association of Counties a leadership meeting at 2 p.m., and I'll probably take that at that Greeley spot. And that is it for me. Thank you. So the next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. So I'll read through those items. It's a pretty short consent agenda this morning. We have 3 agreements. We have an amendment to the development agreement of Rocky Mountain Ohana Ranch Conservation Development. This is to extend the completion date to December 31st, 2025. We have an amendment 1 to Exhibit A of an intergovernmental agreement regarding construction of county open space infrastructure during the Chimney Hollow Reservoir construction. And this amends an existing intergovernmental agreement, and the amendment is specific to the scope of work to stockpile aggregate for the road base. And that will go with the completed construction of Chimney Hollow Reservoir, and it's a $165,000 item. And then our third agreement is an A102 construction contract between owner and contractor. This is for an emergency services project, and the total dollar amount is approximately $22 million. That's for the new emergency services facility that's being planned north of Fort Collins. We have 1 appointment. This is a recommended reappointment to the Environmental and Science Advisory Board for Natasha Carr. She will have a term that ends June 30th, 2028. We have 1 letter of support on the consent agenda. This is for being provided to Colorado Parks and Wildlife and regarding the purchase of the Edwards Farm, which is an 87-acre property adjacent to the Lon Hagler State Wildlife Area. And this is aligned with Larimer County's land and viewshed preservation goals. We have 1 liquor license renewal. That is for Bertage Chateau, LLC, doing business as the Colorado Cherry Company, and that's a beer and wine license. We have 10 miscellaneous items. We had 11, but 1 item was moved. We might see on future consent agendas, but that was a FEMA letter around FEMA, and we will be working on that letter. So the next 10 items that are staying on the consent agenda, 4 are requests for approval to enter upon lands for weed mitigation, 5 are stipulations as to tax year 2024 value, and 1 is a stipulation as to tax year 2023 value. If you want more information on those items, that is available on our website. And finally, we have 1 resolution. This is a finding and resolution approving the Heller short-term rental special review, and this was for a public hearing that was held on April 14th, 2025. So that is it for the consent agenda. Would either commissioner want to remove something from the consent agenda? Seeing no heads nodding yes, I will ask Commissioner Kafalis to make a motion for this item.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve the consent agenda for May 20th, 2025.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. Does anyone have any guests? No. Okay. Then we will move on to our 1 and only discussion item. And these are the 2025 Community Mitigation Grant Awards. And this was submitted by Josh Roberts from the Office of Emergency Management. So I'll call Josh up and he can kick us off on this item. And I assume that's why we have so many wonderful folks in our audience today.
I think so. Good morning, Commissioners. Josh Roberts, Mitigation Coordinator for the Office of Emergency Management. Good morning, Lorinda and staff also, and everyone in the audience. Hi, Lori. We thought this morning would be a great opportunity to make a few announcements regarding our community mitigation grant program, as well as recognize these communities for the work that they're doing in the disaster risk reduction space and in the wildfire mitigation space. They're just doing some tremendous work. And as you mentioned, some communities are represented here today, so thanks for you guys making the drive down to visit with us this morning. So a couple of announcements and statements. First announcement really is the 2025 awards. This year, we are awarding the $100,000 that you guys have provided in the pool of funds for this program to 19 different communities through these community mitigation grants to support community-driven mitigation projects. These projects, they reduce risk, and maybe even more importantly, they improve resilience in the communities because these folks are working together with their neighbors in their communities on things that really and truly take all of us to overcome, and that is wildfire risk, disaster risk. These awards specifically, they're going to help to fund a variety of projects that are all built and written from the ground up, if you will. But they include things such as hazardous fuels mitigation, community/chipping programs, or community/removal programs. They're funding the equipping of these communities with tools, equipment, and supplies to do some work on their own, to build mitigation tool libraries for neighbors to check those out and do this work on their own if they need a particular tool like a saw or something like that. Acquisition of dump trailers, this funding goes to, and really much, much more. That's just a snippet of some of the things that it's funded. And, as mentioned, importantly, these projects not only do they help reduce the risk, but they really help improve resilience. They get neighbors working together. A lot of these projects have neighborhood-wide mitigation work days, or certainly a requirement of our program, too, is for all these folks to get together with the neighbors to talk about the project, to talk about wildfire risk and what we can do. So really just wanted to announce the 2025 awards to these 19 different communities. The next thing, I'd like to give some thanks and recognition. So thanks to you guys for your leadership and support, with this program and in the work that we do. And a big thanks and much deserved recognition goes to the communities themselves, whether they're current recipients of an award or previous recipients. This is the fourth year of the grant program, as you guys know. It takes time and effort to coordinate these projects, to plan them, to manage them, to do the work, a little bit of sweat equity in them, and these projects, that I'm sort of making a statement on are projects that we're funding through this grant program, but they're just doing so much outside of what the programs that we're providing financial assistance for. So I would like to just pause and say tremendous thanks and a big kudos, maybe with a round of applause, to the communities who've received these awards. And two, I kind of wanted to open, if I could, if anybody wanted to say any comments, those of you that represent some of our recipient communities. Yeah, go ahead. Hey.
Well,
You have to come up.
yeah, you do have to come up because we can't hear all the people watching on TV can't hear you if you don't speak into the mic. So,
My name is Dave Herder. I am with Cherokee Meadows Road Association. I'm also representing Livermore Fire Protection District. We really appreciate these grants because it really satisfied several things, 2 or 3 for Cherokee Meadows and several for Livermore Fire. With our resources in Livermore Fire, we don't have fire trucks to sit at every house in the event of a wildfire. And with this mitigation project, we are going to hopefully prepare houses that'll stand alone in a wildfire, which frees up Livermore resources for more other type of houses that maybe aren't. So we received the grant this year we had 2 aspects. We're going to provide training on how to survive a wildfire, a wind-driven wildfire, and then another thing that we require for people to share in the grant is to get a home ignition zone assessment. And that's a great program that Larimer County Emergency Services is leading with wildfire partner ambassadors. And I'm that person for Livermore Fire. So thank you for helping us, Livermore Fire, and helping Cherokee Meadows.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Come on up, Rachel, with Crystal Lakes.
Hi, I would like to thank
Can you, I'm
all-
sorry, can you introduce yourself too?
Oh, sure. Rachel Owenby, member of Crystal Lakes Road and Recreation Association, just outside of Red Feather. Truly would like to appreciate all your funding that you've provided over the last several years. We are two-time recipients of almost a $10,000 grant each time, one for a pull-off for a fire truck, so at one of our pinch points in our roads, and another for roadside mitigation this past year. And it looks absolutely amazing. We put in a lot of effort as a community as opposed to the grant that was provided by you. Our goal is to not only keep our community safe, but to keep our firefighters safe and be able to transport our community, which is really our family, out of Crystal safely in the event of a fire. We also appreciate the National Forester working in that area and FEMA grants. So we really are putting everything we've got into this with our community and our community members and CWPP. So I know things are tight, and I truly hope that you continue to do this going forward for the other communities. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
We'll get Tom or Wayne. Go ahead. Come on, Wayne. And introduce yourself, if you don't mind.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Wayne Brodigam. I'm the chairman for Crystal Mountain Road Association. We're at the top of Crystal Mountain. We have approximately 50 properties within our area. It was badly destroyed by the Cameron Peak Fire. And we also had a flood that come through, and we lost 2 of our members up there in the flood. Thanks to you guys, we had a grant working with Andy Josie. We were able to do some removal of a cabin that was completely washed into the river. That was removed. Andy Josie helped get that taken care of for us. We were lucky enough to receive another grant from the Forest Service. We had 350 acres of burned trees removed. Scott Sanborn with Timberline Forest Restoration did all the work for us. Did an excellent job. Our area looks like the Sierra Desert up there now. Not quite, but we have lodgepole pines coming up that are over 2 foot tall right now. A lot of new aspens coming up. We still could use some road work on the lower Crystal Mountain Road. I know some of that's Forest Service, some of it's private. We're not allowed to do a lot of work up there, but hopefully now that they opened up a motorcycle trail going up the top of Crystal, we can get some help on that road. So again, thank you very much for the $10,000 grant that we received, and thanks for your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Tom from Glacier View. You want to reintroduce yourself?
Yes. I'm Tom Hosfeld, and I'm wearing 2 different hats today. I am the president of the Red Feather Highlands Maintenance Association, which is an HOA within the Glacier View Fire Protection District. I'm also the coordinator of the Community Wildfire Protection Plan implementation team. And I wanted to point out how different organizations are working well together in Larimer County. I'm the president of an HOA. We are working well with our fire protection district. The fire protection district got 2 grants, one for $5,000 that we used to buy chainsaws and pole saws. I used that pole saw twice last week as we thinned trees along 74E. We also got $8.5 $8,000 for a dump trailer to haul that slash. I'm the president of Red Feather Highlands Maintenance Association. We got a $5,700 grant, the next year a $10,000 grant to haul slash up to Crystal Lake slash pile for burning. But all of you were present last year when we had the air curtain burner in Glacier View Meadows, and we are trying to use that on an annual basis. We're working with DFPC to schedule that for this summer. There's also the Sheriff's Office Wildfire Partners Program that has trained our ambassadors to go out and do wildfire assessments. Just within Glacier View, we have done 48 assessments in the past year. So I just wanted to point out that all of these organizations are working well together, and we're getting to the point where this is just how things happen. We're not starting from scratch each time. So I'd like to thank you for all that.
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning. I'm Virginia Kent, and I'm the secretary of the Northridge Meadows HOA up in Estes Park. We're on the corner of Dry Gulch. And I want to thank Mr. Keflis for all the work and the rest of the commissioners for the work that you did for us with stopping the expansion of the coaster. And we really appreciate that. It's made a big difference because we're right on the road near it. Our fire mitigation began about a year and a half ago when we started following the CSU guidelines. We decided that 5 feet was not enough because that's the ignition zone, went out to 20 feet, the second zone. And last year we ended up with one of our board members getting out, and people said this will never work. And she just went out very loyally and trimmed trees, got the skirts up on some of them, and slowly everybody that was in the condos came out and helped. Mostly we were all older women, and we were telling people you need to watch out with ladies with white hairs with saws. We didn't have a chainsaw. We didn't have a chainsaw, so everybody was using hand saws. We cut over 72 trees, skirts up on 72 trees ourselves, and had to hustle to get find a way to get the lumber or limbs to the sort yard, and people had to put them on tarps and pull them up and down hills. So. And then we had another visit with the Estes Park fire mitigation group, who've had several, and that helped us determine what we need to do. We had to spend over $100,000 in this past year with emergencies and went through most of our funds. And so we are very grateful that the Estes Valley turned us on to the grant process. We have several trees that are hugging condos that have to come down. We have a whole plot along Dry Gulch that has to come down. We old ladies can't do that with single saws, and we can't do it with chainsaws either, because most of it's on a steep slope. We received a grant of $5,000, and that will help us get the most dangerous trees down, and that will continue to work on trimming and getting things done to lower the cost as much as we can so we can get more trees down. So we're very grateful to being considered for Josh's help. We also don't have the money to pay and send the receipts in and receive payment back. Josh is working with us to find ways that we can have a pay-as-we-go system. So we can't thank you enough for the support. We watched the Cameron fire below us, and we wanted to just watch the flames because we had full view of what was going on down in Glen Haven. So thank you very much, all of you, for your help.
Thank you.
I think maybe just a few more if we have time, if that's okay.
I think we're fine. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, please.
Hello, I'm Jen Nimlo, and I'm also another silver-haired lady with a saw. So I think we should print a T-shirt. In 2020, I also represent Jack Pine Road Association, which is Soldier Canyon and Mill Canyon over by Laurie State Park. In 2020, our neighborhood came together with the Cameron Peak fire out of fear, and it drove me to start our first community wildfire protection plan. And through grants from Larimer County, thank you, Josh and team, we were able to achieve the first two goals of our community wildfire protection plan, which is first to educate our neighbors, and that we had the help of Poudre Fire Authority. They came and did 2 informational nights and did did a lot of home hardening assessments, which was wonderful. And then we received $5,000 for chipping and slashing, and we had 2 community wildfire mitigation days, which had over 18 people participate, and slash piles so high that the contractors we hired couldn't even handle it. So luckily, Josh was able to find us a few more $1,000s to finish slashing those piles just shortly before the 4th of July, which was giving me a lot of anxiety. So we were able to clear a path 10 feet on each side of our road to the top of Jack Pine to enable egress and emergency responders safe access. We trimmed up trees so that any type of grass fire that starts stays as a grass fire and doesn't get into the grounds. And then this year, I collaborated with Fort Collins Natural Spaces to work on their natural space Crossline Canyon, which is located right in the middle of our neighborhood. They bought the land after the High Park fire. That was the only house that was lost. And they started with mitigation along their road, and then they're going to eventually create an upgraded road that goes 5 miles into the canyon, right into Redstone in case there's access needed. So this has been a wonderful start because in 2020, we're all feeling scared and lost and really not knowing what to do. And this was exactly what we needed for our community to bring us together and to make us feel like we had some power to make change. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, come on up. Morning. Pete Wells from Redstone Canyon. Redstone Canyon, for those that don't know, is west of Horsetooth. So we kind of border to Horsetooth open space and Lorry Park on our east side, Buckskin Heights on our west side, and then interface on the north with Risk Canyon far enough up and Whale Rock area and 3080 on the south side. So a pretty big area. There are multiple HOAs in that space. I'm also the company officer for Poudre Fire Authority Station 11, volunteer station up there. So we have a responsibility for this space, and I got volunteered to kind of lead the efforts for mitigation this year, which has really been going on thanks to a lot of community members for probably over a couple of decades, keeping our road access safe for fire access during fire events like High Park and Cameron Peak recently, and also fuel breaks just to help we're kind of the last line of defense for all the communication towers up on the top of Horsetooth. And so pretty big space and so broader than just the HOA spaces, the PFA Station 11 area is kind of my backyard. So that's what we did. So this grant was really helpful for us as we extended an offer to our community, the broad community, very big response, basically would be responsible for doing all the slash creation, doing mitigation work, creating slash piles, and the funds that we are using from your grant and also from local raised funds will help fund the chipper that will go around and basically get rid of these fuels. So thank you guys again.
Thank you, Pete.
So much for a Bigfoot. All right. So I'm Cheryl Pogue with Crystal Lakes, and I've worked with Larimer County for a number of years now. And I want to tell you, you guys are awesome, really awesome. You've recognized that mitigation is the key to our future. And I have to tell you that Lori and Josh and all the staff that you provide support with is critically important. Crystal Lakes is a large HOA, but we don't have a lot of resources outside of just dues. But your support with the federal grants has been incredible. And we have a lot more work to do. I know we're identified as one of the highest risk communities in Larimer County. But without your support and your continued support, things will just come to a stop. So thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up, Liz. Anybody else after? Okay, gotcha.
We'll just end it all. Hi, Liz Moravka from Star Mountain Community. So after the Cameron Peak fire, which we never thought would even come as far as it did to us, we realized how much work we needed to do to make our community more resilient. And so we formed the Storm Mountain Wildfire Action Group and identified, different areas that we needed help with. And one of them, of course, was fire mitigation. So we partnered with the Loveland Fire and Rescue Department, and they told us about this grant with Josh and the Office of Emergency Management, and we were able to get $10,000 last year and form our mobile chipping program. And what that means is, LFRA comes out, they do an assessment of the property and tell the homeowners all the different things they need to do. They create all their slash piles, they put them on the road. We have a very organized chipping program, so they come and they chip the chips and put them back on the property. We were able to chip 320 piles last year with that grant, so thank you so much. This year, we were luckily enough to be awarded another $5,000, so we will continue with that program. We're also working with LFRA and the air curtain burners, so now we also have an area where residents can bring their slash because some people don't have access to put their slash on the road. So we're trying our very best to do all the different ways that we can help our community. And just even all the classes I've taken with OEM and learned everything that I need to do has just been just a beautiful thing for our community, and we can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Miss.
My name is Kurt. I am president of the Sand Creek Park Landowners Association. For some of you that may not know that area, it is bordering the state of Wyoming. It is from County Road 89 and County Road 80C is kind of our main county roads that our association of roughly 16,000 acres and 300 plus landowners call our home, and some have now this year brought to our attention the opportunity to apply for this grant, and we were thankful that we were awarded $5,000, and we're going to try to mimic what the previous speaker just talked about, what they did with cutting, slash, and chipping. So we're just thankful for the opportunity and look forward to possibly building on this in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Okay, I think that's all the comments from some of our community recipients. And again, just a big thank you and kudos for the work that you guys are doing, coordinating your neighbors, just keeping this really great momentum going around this truly, truly important work that takes all of us to overcome. So big shout out and kudos to you guys. For those of you that are in the room and for many that aren't. And, you guys heard some testimonials here about all the partners that we're working with on these things, whether they're fire departments throughout the county, some of our partner organizations as well. So just a lot of tremendous work and collaboration going on, in the space. And that, if I can, just one more sort of announcement here. It's a great segue. Speaking of partner organizations, another announcement we wanted to make this morning is new this year, and through a partnership with the Northern Colorado Fireshed Collaborative, we're being provided an additional $65,000 through round 3 of the Fireshed Fund to support an expansion of this community mitigation grant program, and in particular to just provide additional financial assistance for some community mitigation projects that we weren't able to fund with the $100,000 pool that we had. So really, really appreciate the support from Karina and Shayna and Elise with Fireshed Collaborative. And so how about a round of applause for them? And I'd like to invite them up to say something.
Hey everyone, I'm Karina Marshall, and I coordinate the Northern Colorado Fireshed Collaborative, which is a large landscape collaborative consisting of federal, state, local, nonprofit partners, and we're Wyoming border down to about I-70, and then including Grand County on the western slope as well. So these are the watersheds and counties that are intersecting with the Arapahoe-Roosevelt National Forest and Rocky Mountain National Park as our major federal land managing partners. Just super excited to partner on this year, and super excited to see all of you here today. This is a really cool, innovative program that is so grassroots and developing that kind of community resiliency. So I'm so excited to see partners that I've worked with in the past on CWPPs before my Fireshed role, and just really kudos to all of you and Josh and all of the staff, pulling together this kind of community knit piece in addition to the wildfire mitigation. Mitigation is important, but the kind of investment into community relationships here is not something that I've seen in any other parts of the Fireshed or any other parts of my career in other parts of the country. So just really wanted to give you all the props for acknowledging that, beyond the funding, the community relationships and you all kind of trying and figuring out what's going to work in your community is going to last for generations. So thank you all so much.
So again, thanks for your leadership. Yeah,
Thanks,
any
Josh.
questions or comments?
Any questions or comments? Commissioner Shattuck McNally?
Can I make a question and comments? Is that okay?
Sure can.
Okay. I'll try to be brief, but I have a lot
It's
to
all
say
right.
about this, as you know, Josh. I'll ask a question. So I know the answer to this, but I'm asking it for people listening and for the record. Okay. So
Hopefully I get it right then.
Well, I know this answer, but I just want to do it for everyone to understand.
Sure.
So when we started this program, this is a kind of a new board. We're Commissioner Stevens and I are started our second term, but there wasn't this grant program, and so we started this. And I just let you share with those in the audience, but everyone is listening in. We started off with 50,000 and 11 grants, I believe. And so do you have that?
That's what I'm pulling up right now to get the numbers right.
I'm going slow to help you pull it up. So, and so I wanted to share that well, first I asked the question. So we started off with 11 grants, about 50,000. Now this year, where you had $334,000 worth of asks. May not have that exactly to the penny, but I'm close, I hope.
Close, yeah.
And there's triple the grants, I believe. And so the need or the word has gotten out, or people are realizing that how important this work is, because we know, and these are old numbers. They used to say 1.6, and I'm using the building sciences because that's a big number. Every dollar that we invest, so this $100,000 is worth $13 in savings for suppression and recovery. So it's the old adage of an ounce of prevention, a pound of cure.
Yep.
So this $100,000 is really worth to the community $1.3 million, which is really hard to get that return on investment in a lot of things. So can you share with me, even though we've gotten a thank you for the Fireshed for the $65,000, but we still had several that we could not fund. So the need is there.
Yep.
And so could you just kind of expand on that a little bit? I hope I gave you enough time.
Absolutely, you did. I was just going to say thanks for the additional commentary. It gave me time to look it up. But so 2022 was the first annual cycle of this program. And Lori, correct me, but it was 50,000 in the total pool that year. And right now today, you guys generously doubled that before last year's. But in that inaugural year, there was 14 proposals received, right? 50,000 in the pool. If you fast forward to last year, where we had 100,000 in the pool, there were 21 proposals received that requested about $160,000 worth of projects. That was last year. This year, we received 34 proposals with a total requested funding amount of just over $300,000. So from year one to this year, certainly there's a trend, an increase in the amount of proposals or applications to the project, as well as an increase in the amount of funding that's being asked for. And I think that, is indicative of a lot of different things. But certainly to include a reason here is because of our risk. Our risk isn't necessarily, I'm not aware of any disaster sciences, whether they're academician or practitioner, that says we'll have less disaster loss in the future. You guys and everyone that lives here in this beautiful part of the world know that wildfire is at the top of our risk profile. It's an ever-present hazard, and we have previous wildfires, big ones, to kind of look back on and to see and know that it happens here. So our risk is increasing, the need is increasing. As Commissioner, you're going to have a town hall here shortly with the insurance commissioner. And just some of the insurance challenges here, the need is increasing. And so I think, what we're seeing in the way of additional proposals and additional funding, ask is indicative of that need. Yep. And to your point, certainly, risk reduction efforts, mitigation efforts, it's well known and well studied through peer reviewed research that it has a positive cost benefit. So there's an exponential rate of return in avoided loss, response, and recovery cost for every dollar that we spend on the front end. This wise man once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So certainly this dollar is going to stretch beyond just the $100,000 that we're being able to provide out, not just in risk reduction measures, but, as Karina mentioned, perhaps even more importantly, just the way that it is catalytic to our communities, the way it helps organize our neighborhoods, brings neighbors together to all work on a common mission here that we all share a piece of the responsibility and to overcome. So, yeah, thanks for that tee up there, Commissioner.
You're welcome. Well, I'm just making a point, but
Yep.
I have my evil agenda back here. I'm just kidding. So, it's Wildfire Preparedness Month, so it's great that we're doing it this month, and that's another reason why I'm doing that town hall, and I hope you all will come, because it will be really important to understand what they're doing at the state level to try to address this. And there's lots of pieces to this puzzle that need to come together, and of course I lost all my notes here. Hold on. So, but, I think when we talk about when you talked about, I think she said generations to come, and that made me think of one of my favorite quotes. And Commissioner Falls, I think it started from the Greek community, that a society grows great when older folks plant trees that they never planned to sit under the shade from. But I think that has grown, and I believe that it started with the Greek proverb. And I think now it just talks about, it's so important for the generations to come. That we are thinking not only about, today and protecting our current homes, but this is also our habitat and our watersheds and our air quality. We all live downstream. So this is really showing how great I think we're the best county in the state, and how great Larimer County is to think about doing things that are going to impact not only your neighborhoods and your families, but also generations to come, to mitigate this work. And it's not going to be a one and done. We're going to have to keep doing this for, it's going to have to keep coming. So I want everybody, the public that's listening in, and I see Karina and Shana shaking their heads, this has got to be something that we actively do. As someone said in the audience very wisely, it's just part of life now. It's become routine. So I don't know who said that, but thank you for saying that. It's really important. Excuse me. And I was up, what day is it? I finally took some time off, but I ended up working because there was fire mitigation working where I was hiking, and I was asking lots of questions. But I was up planting trees in the Cameron Peak burn area. And then you mentioned about the trees, the danger trees. And we were up there planting trees at, we're one of the first houses that was lost in the Cameron Peak fire. And a 600-year-old tree had to be taken down. It had survived all these other wildfires, but the intensity of the Cameron Peak fire, and around that tree we're looking around and discussing, we're looking at trying to check out the rings and planting trees that are not just, a lot of poles are great, but they grow like dandelions. We need some of the other species, so we're planting the ponderosa and some of the other spruce and other things. But everyone had to stop because the wind came and we could hear all the hazard trees blowing and creaking, and we're all like, okay, everybody stop, look at your surroundings. Yeah. So you all know I know what you're talking about the hazard trees and getting those down, because it is still kind of a danger that all the post-fire stuff that Lori talks about, post-fire flooding and post-fire effects, are really important. So we talk about that wisdom, and I know people talking about this, but this really come out of Lori's work, and Josh, and of course, and I'll give you some kudos here in a minute, but I'm going to talk about Lori because this is after COVID and Cameron Peak fire and Lorenda's leadership as well, because I know you were at that table. that we started these resiliency hubs, and that came out of COVID and how we helped community and those disproportionately impacted, along with the fire, recover and listen to their needs and what was happening at this level. And Lori, thank you for pushing on resiliency hubs. It is unique. The country's watching us. I think we're up to 19 resiliency hubs.
21.
20. Okay, so 21. But when I think we started, we had maybe low teens, and now we're up. So it's a great concept, and I think that is the wisdom from us planting these trees or doing this mitigation work for now, but also future generations, is that it's community, it's connection, it's collaboration. You heard me talk about the Larimer Way. That is invaluable. That is something that we're investing in that you can't measure.
Right.
You can't measure the return on investment. So first off, I want to say to all of you in the room and everyone listening that you are the heroes. Without you all and coming down today, we could not do this work, because it takes a community that wants to build that connection, that collaboration, and with our staff. I call it the Larimer Way. It doesn't happen everywhere, because I hear about it, because we actually got interviewed on it from behavioral health, opioid abatement, and wildfire connection. I've had some folks interview, and that's why I was in National Wild Turkey Federation magazine or whatever, because we were talking about this, because these things don't know lines or neighborhoods or jurisdictions.
Sure.
It is all of us together in this region working together to protect what we love and the landscapes we love, but also our water and our air and our community. And so I want to thank you for being heroes, my heroes. I mean it. And your wisdom and the legacy that you're leaving, that is so important. Pete and Kurt, and I'm going to miss some of you, Jenna, the gal from the Estes Park, Dry Gulch. I'm up there all the time, hiking around there all the time. Wayne, Tom, Rachel, Dave, thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I want to thank you for being here and coming down and sharing your stories. And I want to thank Lori and Josh and your team and Lorenda, and for Josh. We weren't always at the table when I first came on as commissioner, and I knew you got me when I was like, we have to be at this table to build these connections and relationships, and you've taken it to a whole new level that has made this even more of an extraordinary program. And I want to thank Lori for hiring you and bringing you on board. And I want to thank you for being here, because this is unique and very important. And it builds more than just that resiliency, but it's building community that makes Larimer County so special. And I hope folks understand how important that is. But I could go on and on, but I just want to thank Karina and Shayna and Elsa and all of them. Partnerships are really important. We can't do this work alone, and we're all in this together. So thank you for being here. Thanks for the partnership and the extra funding. And I hope you all come on Tuesday and listen to the fire commissioner, because this is another important piece for housing affordability and protecting folks and helping us all stay here living in the land that we love and the county we love. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalis, any comments or questions?
Yes. I'll offer a question and ask that you be succinct in your response. My question is, what is the process for communities to apply for wildfire mitigation grants, community mitigation grants, and who decides? If you could be succinct in answering that question, then I do have just a couple of comments.
Absolutely. Great question. It's an online application that we open up towards the first of the year. Those applications are received, and there is a team of folks that evaluate them in accordance with established evaluation criteria that we provide through a webinar and we post on our webpage. So,
And there are clear review criteria that you consider.
there are. Yes, sir. Yep. There are certain questions that, or certain points, and there's independent review evaluations, and then there's we come together, and then we work with a few partners too on some details.
Thank you, Josh.
Yep.
And thank you for being succinct.
That's hard for me. So yeah, appreciate it.
We all need to practice.
Yeah, that's right.
If I may, just a couple of comments. Try to build on what Commissioner Shattuck McNally said. first of all, a very sincere shout out to you and your team. You bring a unique set of qualities and skills to this job. Your level of, I mean, you know the job. You've made the connections with people in the community. Also, your level of enthusiasm and your demeanor, I think, is very conducive to, just being a bit of a magnet to bring folks together. So I commend you and your team. One example of partnership is Karina and the Northern Colorado Fireshed Collaborative, and it's great that that's happening. I also would be a bit remiss if I didn't do a bit of a shout out to Lori, our Office of Emergency Management Director. I mean, your leadership is amazing in many ways, but I think it's telling that this morning it demonstrates that your leadership is such that led people to have the space to do the work and be on the ground. It's kind of that servant leadership thing that we talk about. So I'm very grateful to you, and of course to the community members. As has been stated, this work doesn't happen unless you all are doing it. We as commissioners, we occasionally plant trees and get out and clean up some debris, but ultimately it's the communities that do the work. And I want to mention that I think it was last night, there was a couple of references to the CWPPs, the Community Wildfire Protection Plans, and probably Josh was on the Zoom call, but I think Red Feather Lakes had a Zoom meeting last night, Monday night, to update their Community Wildfire Protection Plan. And we know we have one in Crystal Lakes, Glacier View Meadows, and Poudre Canyon, etc. I also want to mention, this is so important for all the reasons stated, but we know that in Colorado, for example, I think 40% of the homes are in the wildland-urban interface, and therefore it magnifies the importance of doing this work, of partnering together. This is an example of public-private. I think this is a very appropriate role of government, reinvesting public dollars back into these communities, into these neighborhoods. Often in our annual reports, we talk about social capital, and it's been stated how this type of work that you all are doing, and God bless you, is a way of building community and strengthening our connections and our resilience and empowerment. I guess I'll close by saying that a couple of years back, I think our Office of Emergency Management Director provided us with little jars, gratitude jars, and the intent was to put a slip of paper in there every so often or daily if possible, something that we're grateful for. So I'm very grateful and appreciate all of you, Josh, the team, all of us. It's a team effort. We're all in this together. And this is, wildfires, floods are regional, are local, and the solutions ultimately come down to local, especially in these times when we're trying to figure out better what's happening at the federal level. So more power to you all, and thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm not sure there's much left unsaid, although with all the applause, I feel like I should say something applause-worthy here. I do want to thank Lori and Josh for your leadership in this space. It's really, really grateful for that. I do want to say, just echo the idea that, government can't do all the work, and nor do really people want government to do all the work. But we are grateful to be partners with you in doing this work. And so, the work that you're doing is not only to protect your homes, it's to protect our communities. And I love the sense of community that you all have, that's really shown here today. And hearing your stories was really remarkable. Just seeing the work that you're doing and that you care about doing, that you want to do in the future is just heartwarming. And it Josh could have told us all the award winners and listed out how much money everybody got, and we could have, then just finished on with our meeting. But hearing your stories was really important, I think, for the community and for all of us to know how you stretch these dollars to be able to protect your homes and your communities. And I love that you get together and do this work, right? It builds friendships and relationships that are important during difficult times. And in an age where we're not always friendlier, people aren't always don't know their neighbors in many cases, you are showing that this is the way forward. This is how we do good work. So I just really thank you for being here and being willing to share your story. Sometimes when we ask people to come up and speak, they just, they don't want to. And so I'm really glad you all did come up and speak, because you each had a unique story from different parts of the county about how you're doing this work. So that's great. I also need to figure out how I hang out with gray-haired ladies with chainsaws, or at least get the T-shirt, because that seems like a really cool club to be part of. And we don't want you on those steep hills, so we should figure that out for somebody else to do that. But really, really remarkable, really wonderful morning. Thank you for spending that with us. So thanks again for being here. Lorinda, did you want to say anything before we close?
I'll just say this takes a lot of coordination and dedication from the staff at Emergency Management, and you all do a remarkable job both finding the applicants, vetting the applicants, creating the criteria. It is a well-vetted program. It isn't just random and who you worked with last and who you like best. There really are some structural rules around this, and that makes it fair and it makes it accessible for everyone. And I appreciate the fact that you all do a workshop around it to help communities who aren't used to applying for grants, to make this an easy process to access these funds, so that all the good work that you all do and have celebrated today is possible. So thanks to the team as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys, for your time and allowing us to recognize. Can we do a group photo?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. So this is going to be, we're going to all be in the photo, so we're all going to smush together and probably make several lines, but we do want to get a group photo for people who are up for that. And so we'll pause for that. Thank you.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. We are back from our photo opportunity with all the grant recipients from our community mitigation grants. And we are on to our next agenda item, and that is a county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. I will keep it very brief because what a great celebration that was. I did some internal coordination this week with a couple of elected offices. I met with Assessor Bob Overbeck and Treasurer Irene Josie. It's always great to meet with those folks and talk about how we can support their efforts, and they're part of the county. Also met with Front Range CSU Extension Front Range Regional Director Carrie Rollins about our Extension office and the way that we collaborate amongst the region, and those are always great meetings. Probably the most uplifting thing I did all week was something that Commissioner Kafalis and I did together, and that was the Poudre Fire Authority UC Health EMS Survivors event that was held last week. Both survivors and responders were recognized. And when I say responders, I mean everyone from dispatchers to the people on the street who are just members of the public who responded and assistance and provided things like CPR, called 911. It was great to see and hear the stories. It was very uplifting, and I hope that they do that again. It was nice of them to invite us. One of the awards also involved our Larimer County Sheriff's Office search and rescue. They had to do kind of an extensive mountain rescue. It was a very interesting story from a young woman who is, I think, the definition of resilience. Her remarks were incredible, and her appreciation, everyone's appreciation for these first responders was outstanding. And so a shout out to first responders and to Poudre Fire Authority for hosting the event.
Thank you. Any questions for Lorinda? No. Okay. Well, thank you, Lorinda. Appreciate that. All your work last week. We will move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Kafalis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll cite a couple of things that I was involved in the community. A couple of things we all did together. One is what comes to mind is on Tuesday, both you and I attended the Office on Aging Resource Fair and Community Awards event. It was a great event, a lot of vendors, and very moving during the awards ceremony. I was honored to provide the Family Caregiver Award of the Year, and it was actually a couple that's up in Crystal Lakes. Speaking of the mountain communities, next with Lorinda, the county manager, we attended the every 2 month the Poudre School District, City of Fort Collins, Larimer County liaison meeting, and there was a discussion about budgets, and also the city is looking at putting on the ballot their capital improvement project sales tax, and so that's something that's being considered for the city council to decide. Later that day, we had and it's not on the calendar, but I do want to mention that I had the privilege of addressing a graduating class of social work students, BSW students from Colorado Mesa University, a Zoom meeting. And the professor, the adjunct professor, was a former student of mine when I taught the policy class at CSU, and she thought I could be helpful with the students. So that was a real privilege. At our Ag Advisory Board on Wednesday, a lot of actually really exciting things I think are happening. One is that we've working with Colorado State University and a CSU intern working on her PhD, Ag Economics. We're looking at developing, we have an economic impact a study that's being done that I think will be very helpful. We're also making progress at streamlining building codes and land use codes as it relates to agricultural food production. So I think all of those things are really good things. Our county manager mentioned the Poudre Fire Authority UC Health Emergency Medical Services event. It was also very moving and powerful. I think that's all. Thanks. Thank you all for listening a little bit.
Thank you, Commissioner Collins. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, anything to add?
I don't have too much to add because I did take some little time off with my family. And one of the reasons that we took some time off is my youngest child graduated with some honors and things from college. And I just wanted to take a moment looking at all the different activities at the universities and community colleges and soon to be public school, high schools and private schools and graduations from high school and other programs. Just congratulations to all the graduates. Your resiliency and hard work has paid off, and on to the next chapter. And you've shown that you have the grit and the grace to accomplish the good things, and you are our hope and bright lights for the future. And I hope that you'll continue on with your journeys. I want to commend CSU for doing the first combined big university graduation. I saw a lot of videos from that and some of the speakers, and just well done. President Parsons gave out some honorary doctoral hoodings, and it was just really neat to see CU. I don't remember how many had at that, but CU had over 13,000 students graduate in their stadiums. It was quite a bit, and it just this my impression with the professors and some of the staff and the comments and the investment that a lot of these folks have in their students and the way they work hard to uplift them and to inspire them and be a part of that. It's just really cool. And I think that we forget people do the things they do, like teaching and at institutions of all various levels, because they love it and want to help the next generations. And I want to thank all the staff and people who help coordinate all of that. And just again, congratulations to the families, to students, and all the folks, whether it's from a fire academy or all the way up to earning your doctorate. This is a time of celebration and spring renewal, and just want to give my heartfelt congratulations to everyone, and well done, and wish you all the best on your future endeavors. Yesterday, just a couple things. I attended a data collection community group discussing about how we, with this connection, continued community conversations with some leaders in the Thompson School District, Dr. Gabriel and some others, about how we continue this theme of community and connection and belonging. And I want to thank her for that continuing progress. And I think there's some great things and ideas, and really that need to make sure everyone feels safe and a sense of belonging. And then also I did attend, along with the Northern Colorado Fireshed and some others, forest trends and wildfire mitigation and public values and insights to a research-driven report yesterday, and it was quite striking. And so I'm going to get that recording and share some of that data with my colleagues later. But that's all I have to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just mention a few things. As Commissioner Cavallo said, we were on Tuesday, we were at the Office on Aging Resource Fair and Community Awards event, and I gave out one award, but two award recipients for the Senior Volunteer Awards, and that was pretty remarkable that, people who retire often just plunge right back into volunteering and do great work in our community, and our community is better because of that. I spoke at the NoCo Now meeting. A lot of the women in our community and in that particular group are really interested in how federal and state budget cuts are affecting local government. So that was really great to be able to share some of the things that we're seeing on our end, and some of the scares we have about Medicaid funding and food assistance funding, potentially being cut, and how that'll affect our community. On Wednesday, I spoke to the NoCo Foundation's Water Literate Leaders program. I was a 2018 graduate of that program, so it was fun to go back, talk about our water master plan with Lori Kadrich. I think that they were very interested in that, knowing that, we were one of only a couple counties in the state that have actually created a water master plan, and how we plan to implement that. So that was a great conversation that we had there. I also met with some people from Larimer Alliance to talk about some of the work that we're doing on air quality, both regionally and locally. Shared some of the work that Tom Gonzalez had shared the other day about the work that they're doing at the health department with regard to air quality, some of the work that we're doing on the Regional Air Quality Commission. So I think that that was good to get that information to them. We had a work session with the Planning Commission, which was really good, talking about a few code updates that we'll be making. So we'll see those in the future. On Thursday, we met with Senator Bennett's office to talk about the Fix Our Forest Act, which is got some problematic pieces to it, even though the intention may be good, the actual language and implementation might not be so good. So really talking through that with other commissioners. Went to the presidential NOCO Foundation Lunch and Learn to learn about a lot of the great work that the NOCO Foundation is doing to get dollars into our community and encourage philanthropy. So that was good. And then, yeah, on Saturday I got to read at the farmers market to little kids. That was one of the highlights of my week. And then joined some landowners and some of the people from that are volunteering up with the Storm Mountain Recovery Group. Talked to some of those folks about some of the work that they're doing and some of the loss that they have had with the Alexander Mountain fire. It was supposed to be a media event. We were on Storm Mountain and we got a storm. So, but that was great to be able to connect with some of those landowners up there who've had some losses. And then finally, on Saturday, went to the APITA, the Heart and Soul Heritage for Asian Pacific and Desi American Month, and that was a great event. I kind of caught the tail end of it, but there were dragons and drums and lots of fun things, and so lots of dragons that were spitting out cutie oranges, and the kids really loved that. So it was a really fun event, and just we're happy to be a part of that, and grateful that we can partner with Heart and Soul to sponsor events like that build community and enrich people with cultural understanding. So that is it for me. We have some legal matters left to discuss. On two of the matters, there's a decision expected, and so I think we'll do those two first, and then we will come back and make those decisions, and then go into the next executive session where there's no decision to be made. So I would ask, I think Commissioner Kafalis to make the motions for us to go into those first two executive sessions, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And to clarify, you'd like me to make the two separate motions for those?
We'll look to legal staff to see if that's best, and it looks like David's going to come up and.
For the first two, if you want to combine them, that's fine.
Thank you, David, because we are citing the same Colorado revised statute. That's helpful. Okay. I move that the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners, move into executive session pursuant to Colorado revised statute 24-6-4024B, conferences with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice regarding Bird versus Driscoll et al., 2025 CV 30209, and the matter regarding Gason versus Mitchell McGuinness et al., 2025 CV 30235.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We will now move into executive session. Well, good morning, everyone. We're back from our executive session, and I'm going to turn things over to David Arud to talk about what we'll be motioning on this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, David Ayer, Deputy County Attorney. There were two cases that we discussed. The first was Miss Bird v. Driscoll et al. That is a case filed in Larimer County District Court. It pertains to a domestic violence incident that occurred at the Clarion Hotel. Deputies were called out. They were allowed in by the partner who confirmed the situation. They ended up needing to use a non-lethal beanbag method to gain control of the individual, and so they're suing the county for excessive force. The second is Gasson v. I have Larimer County, but it is in Larimer County District Court. That involves another situation where a domestic disturbance was called in. Mr. Gasson was potentially having a mental health crisis at the same time. He was non-responsive. Deputies were trying to talk to him for 4+ hours to gain some control. They also tried to use some tear gas to have him exit without any incident. He did not respond to any of that. They ultimately also sent in a non-lethal option of a canine to take control of him. They took him into custody. He believes that they did not have the canine disengage quick enough, so he's also filing for excessive force.
Thank you, David. So, Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll ask you to make a motion on those two cases.
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of County Commissioners approve Larimer County to defend and indemnify the Larimer County employees named in 2025 CV 30209 and case number 2025 CV 2025 CV 30235.
Thank you. There's motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. And so, Commissioner Kafalis, I will ask you to make a motion for us to go into our next executive session. And because no decision is expected, we will not be coming back on the air after this one, so our meeting will be adjourned.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6-402-4B, conferences with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice about the requirements of House Bill 24-1271 concerning regulation of massage facilities by local governments.
Thank you, Commissioner. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That motion passes 3-0. We will move into executive session. We will not be coming back, and we will see you next week, Larimer County.